Alright guys, Sean here, and today we are going to talk about Black Clover chapter 238. Of course, this video is going to contain spoilers, so please proceed with caution. But before we get into the analysis proper, please like this video, subscribe to the channel to become part of the Blizzard crew, and as always, hit the notification bell to get notified when we release future content. That said, this chapter was by far one of the saddest chapters we've had in Black Clover so far because of a couple of issues. So before we talk about the end of the chapter, let's talk about the beginning. So we ended last chapter with Zeno literally defeating William Vengeance and was shocked at the fact that there were a couple of mages that survived the onslaught that took place. Now he was literally shocked at the fact that these guys could withstand two guys who could draw up to 40% of the demon's power, and he proceeded to make a couple of statements which I found quite interesting. Since these guys could draw out up to 40% and were defeated, so in Xenon's terms it was not necessary for them to bring guys who could draw only 40%, so it definitely implies that there could be the possibility of other mages in the Spade Kingdom who could draw more than 40% of the demon's power. Of course, this could also imply that they might need to train these mages to be able to draw 50% and more of the demon's power, or they might need to recalculate their strategy. Of course, Dante views this as a game, so I don't see how they could reformulate their strategy since they themselves are one-man armies. But then Zeno did talk about this and I found that quite interesting. Let's just throw in also the fact that this could imply that they view the Clover Kingdom as a stronger kingdom than the Diamond Kingdom, which he literally fought out alone. So I kind of found that interesting and I just wanted to throw it out there. Of course, this chapter also showed us a couple of things about Yuno. His flashback that he had when Ralph gave him the flame magic tracing was it, outlined the fact that one of the guys he saw in the flashback was indeed Zeno. And what was interesting about the appearance of Zeno in his flashback was that he looked literally the same as he is now. That could mean either of two things. Either Zeno is extremely old and looks young, or the demon that possessed Zeno has given him the ability not to age, because there wasn't much difference from his appearance from when he was back to the way he looks now. So that could be one of the effects of being possessed by a devil. I don't know, but to be honest, I think that Tabata will expatiate on that later on down the road. So of course, Yuno flew into a rage because this is the very guy that took out his family. This is also the very guy that has taken out his friends and fought against Zeno. In the beginning, he was able to cut some of Zeno's bones and Zeno recognized his magic as tier 0. Of course, he knew that this magic was what took out those guys, so he never went in with 40% of the demon's power but with 50%. Yuno was keeping up, and when he went into 55%, one thing happened. He was able to grow demon horns, and the implications of this could actually tie down pretty well to Asta. We've seen that he can only draw a certain percentage of his demon's power, and when he does that, the left part of his body does transform and he grows demon horn. But in Zeno's case, he grew 2 horns, so that might mean that Asta cannot yet draw up to 50% of his demon's power. Of course, in this form, Zeno easily fought out Yuno, but Tabata did use a couple of parallels that I found quite interesting about this part, and that was the fact that Yuno was taken out in the same fashion he took out Gatoroyce. Let's remember, Gatoroyce was taken out because the weathering ability of Yuno's Sword of Zephyr was stronger than his regenerative abilities, but in this case, Yuno was taken out because Zeno's regenerative abilities was stronger than his weathering abilities. And what was interesting was the fact that once Zeno used his creation magic to create some sort of bone sword, he was able to break the spirit sword of Zephyr and impaled Yuno in the heart, basically sealing Yuno's fate, quote unquote, and killing him. Of course, what happened later could not really be explained well because Zeno was no longer in the vicinity and Bell was crying on top of Yuno, insinuating that Yuno was dead, and also Ralph came in there and was trying to call Yuno, but Yuno wouldn't respond. Also, it's important to note that since Zeno left, it is possible that he left with Poyal and Gatoroyce, and that could mean that they actually value those who can draw out demon powers as a valuable asset to the kingdom, because those guys were literally trash and were taken out by the Golden Dawn mages, but they were not in the vicinity. Or else Tabata could clearly use the card where he says that the building just crumbled and literally those guys were buried under rubble, so Max could use information from those guys' memories and get a lot of details regarding the triad and possibly the demon powers. But when it comes to the Golden Dawn mages themselves, I think that many of them have their fate sealed and they're pretty much dead, because in the end, most if not all of these mages seem to have been taken out in a very gruesome manner. Klaus, L'Etoile, Siren, even Harmon was taken out, and Alagdora as well. So most of the stronger part of the squad was taken out, and that's really bad for the kingdom, especially now that they need as many men as possible. So I think that would be a devastating blow to the military might of the Clover Kingdom, simply because the Golden Dawn squad was by far the best squad, and it was the squad with the most number of mages who had Elven power. Of course, we said last time that those guys were unwilling or had their reservations on tapping into that power, so I'll end there. Now, the implications of Xenos transformations could mean that Asta could, at the end of the day, become able to use more than 50% of his demon's power, and I expect a transformation to occur when he is able to do that. But based off what we saw from Xenos' expression of his demon's power, Asta cannot yet use 50%, but it's quite interesting that he cannot yet use 50%, but it's already that strong. Still, I think that Asta could put up a better fight than Yuno, simply because of the fact that his anti-magic is a one-hit KO. So yeah, those were my thoughts on the chapter. What are yours? Please let me know in the comment section. Subscribe to become part of the Blizzard Quest previously made mention of, and let me know what you guys thought about these, especially now that it seems Yuno's dead, but people still believe he's not dead. Especially if Ralph is able to use healing magic, then we have hope. So what I really do not understand is how the hell did Zeno and his friends come in, and why is it that they disappeared and no one knows what happened? Of course, Ralph seems to have an idea of how this could have been done, because he wants Yuno not to fight against one of the Dark Triad members. So that's in itself interesting. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section. I just wanted to throw that there, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.